pause. I'm looking at it. Cactus never lies.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, the first name that jumped out to me between these teams is on Rain Dance, Birch. And I believe this is the Birch I'm thinking of. This might be the Birch who was on Sonder, team that is no longer together. But regardless, a strong player nevertheless. And inside of FOAMS 51, I feel like we've seen FOAMS 51 pop up every so often, just in general when it comes to these kind of events. So I already know they're going to be a strong powerhouse going into this match. I believe the most notable player that I feel like I recognize is Vera, but besides that, I mean, do you know? What about you, Fu? Any names that jump out to you that you might seem familiar?
Just Mia and Vera. So we're going to be seeing some Wiper and Carbon action, I think. So I'm excited to see how these two teams are going to duke it out on Splatzone's Mahi Mahi Resort. Wait, pause. We might have internet connection. Pause.
I was a little scared at first, but I think we're good. We're going in. Right off the bat, love that uniqueness that we're seeing with a Nautilus. We don't see Nautilus enough out in the scenes. So that's gonna be really fun to see. And yeah, there's a Carbon 2 coming out from FOAMS 51, so that's something that you're gonna have to see Rainance be a little careful for, as right off the bat, they do go one player down.
Absolutely. And already with FOAMS 51 dancing into their own beat as they get that zone and continue to take 2 players off of Rain Dance. Oh, look at them go. Already speeding forward, wasting no time. And oh my god, this Rapid is doing numbers. I love that. Yes, be aggressive, be silly. I love it.
Yeah, it's not every day you see an aggressive blaster like that, just kind of poking around. But when you do have one that's able to pair up close with the teammates that want to be equally as aggressive, you're in for some trouble. Right now, Rain Dance also trying to find a good opportunity to go on in. We will see strikes coming on up, but Vera coming in from the side angle gets the Nautilus down. And another! Oh my goodness! An Aura Farm. Just Aura Farm, why don't you, Vera? That was incredible.
I respect it because one, I didn't even think that Carbon was gonna reach that far into killing distance, so I respect it. But Mia, looking for revenge, just trying to a Reef Slider of Doom is gonna cancel that hammer frame 1. I think that's gonna be game. FOAMS 51 with just the incredibly strong game 1. What? It's the way they played without hesitation. They did not waste any time to be exactly where they wanted to be or needed to be even. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best, Fufu. They knew exactly the job they needed to get done. They knew, each player knew what they needed to do to get that win, and they secured it very strong, putting a penalty of +3, by the way, on to the Rain Dance. So they ended up theoretically ending with a score of 101. So I mean, insane pushback immediately after getting that first pick on the Slosher and never letting up from there. They are pure aggression and they have the fire in them. They want to win this set.
Hey, we got one. I love the song too. We're going back to Tower Control Macomart. So, you know what I'm gonna say, because we saw last set where it was like, oh yeah, who cares about pace if you know where you need to be? The pace will figure itself out, and I think it's gonna happen again. I'm excited. You can't toss Persona music on me on a match that's already exciting, because then I'm just gonna start. You're gonna start seeing me jumping off these walls. Like, you're only going to see a blur. I'm gonna replicate a Kraken moment and just
jump all over it. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, this is a very slow-only map, especially once you get past that first checkpoint. It's very hard to stop that tower once it's going there. And we're about to see what these players are going to bring out, if anything changes, but I highly doubt they're going to change either of their comps for this map. Right off the bat, yep, we're seeing the same comp there from FOAMS. And Rain Dance sticking as, well, they had the Wiper before, right? I'm not crazy. No, they have Slosher. Yeah. No, they still have the Slosher before. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no comp changes from either side. It really comes down to who's going to be able to counter the most aggression on both ends. We are going to see Rain Dance tap that tower just for the one time, and they will actually go 2 players down for doing so. Swag might get cut up as well. Vera's just diving on forward, looking to see if they can get another player down. The pencil is Birch in that corner, jumping on out after popping that cooler. And now things are looking up all FOAMS 51.
I respect players that are just unafraid to move forward without fear. Just the confidence radiating from these players is something that everyone should strive to achieve. And, you know, already pushing this tower past 40 points. Again, we blinked. It's only just about to be a minute, and we are already heading in this far into enemy base and continuing to take players off of Rain Dance. Are you seeing this?
Brandon seems to not really have an answer for this Carbon, and that's scary. When you're unable to find an answer for a player that could be just so detrimental to you pushing back in, things are very dangerous territory for you, especially after now we're at this last checkpoint, and it's counting down very fast. We do see UF here getting a pick on one with that Dread. A couple players being tossed around. A hammer from behind will get 2 players out, and Birch will finish 1 more off on the tower. Pushed to 6. FOAMS 51 has miles ahead on Rain Dance, as now Rain Dance is just trying to get some specials and paint on the map, as they had none for the first minute and a half of this game.
I know, this is just insane gaming, I would say. But it looks like Ricky is already flanking from behind with this slosher, able to take an extra, I think it was 2 down off of FOAMS 51. So finally, Rain Dance seeing that opportunity to hopefully move forward. Already seeing that Rain push out as well to try and clear that left stack away from FOAMS 51. Just trying to limit their options. And unfortunately, things are going to be going sideways for Rain Dance, as they're going to be losing 3 members in the process.
Yeah, Rain Dance can't get that footing that they're really looking for. It's just, FOAMS is just so aggressive with a lot of their players. They will get the blaster down, and you will have Vera kind of reset for that cooler, as they're just kind of dancing around that tower, looking for any players they can go and grab a pick against. But right now, they're actually playing pretty slow, pretty comfortably, and looking for a little bit more of that that opportunity rather than just trying to make it themselves. And they're doing a great job at just being alive on the map. It was eager to see Archer just kind of playing the stack as well, seeing if any players are going to dive on it. Mia with that hammer, unfortunately, will not find that pick, and a burst bomb is going to take them out on the side. Oh no, down goes another, and down goes 1 more. Players off Rain Dance are just falling down left and right, as FOAMS 51 is just holding some great control of the center of the map.
Absolutely, and they continue to do so. I mean, this Rapid has impressed me a lot. I'm like, you have to be running Gambit. I didn't see earlier, like some sort of Gambit to be doing something silly like this, because the only Rapids I've seen play like that, me as well, is with Gambit. And if you don't, I respect it anyways. But that being said, we're back in this neutral position, and I think Rain Dance is finally seeing some sort of opportunity to finally move past the neutral. And, you know, already seeing Mia with the hammer just itching for a kill. And does she get it? Not quite, but someone else does. A kill is a kill. Toss that hammer, get someone else. Maybe, question mark? No. But regardless, Rain Dance is starting to get points on the board again.
Oh, and the point shut down immediately. It's Vera gets 2. Always check your angles. 3. Oh my goodness, Vera cannot be stopped.
Why are they letting her get away with that? Don't let Vera get away with that. Guys, watch your Carbon! Or else you're gonna have a Carbon getting triples. I'm so sorry. It was the way they all went 3 into the same spot. Yeah. I cannot make it up.
It's like the call out was ignored, or they all thought maybe they can get that pick, but no damage was ever put down onto that Carbon, so they were able to freely get those picks. Rain Dance is now going to try to push this tower again with 3 players kind of collapsed all around on it. They finally do have a little bit of insight of where Vera might be, as they do see them in front, and getting that pick on Vera right there is huge. It's a 2-player down situation here for FOAMS 51. Hammer tossed by Mia. And as a delayed wipeout, Mia gets another. This might be the reverse that Rain Dance has been hoping for.
And they just gonna keep this pressure up. Again, another pick on the Carbon. A humongous pick. And I think that Winter Rapid should very much be another priority, or more so this Dread that is now threatening this top side. Why are they able to get away with the hammer? They went 3 down. Wait, just a last player standing. But they got the lead. They got the lead. Cactus. They have lead.
They have the lead and overtime is about to start. FOAMS 51 has to push this tower across the map, but honestly, it might not have to be pushed much further if you're on the side of Rain Dance, because all you need is your Slosher to have those strikes, and that's exactly what is online. Get players in position. A player sees on the side of FOAMS 51 and the strikes, and will cause the Wiper to dive onto it. A last second unfortunate scenario, but kind of expected for the side of the strikes being used for Rain Dance to tie the score. Wow, I mean, such an electric last 30 seconds of the game.
Electric is an understatement. Dog, we're overflowing with electricity at this point. I'm like, dude, you can't make it up. You know, you think FOAMS 51 has it in the bag because of how much control they had of the entire game, and it all goes back to only the last 30 seconds count in a game, whether it's a knockout or not, because they're like, okay, well, we only have a little bit of time, and they just threw away any risk management they had and just said go. And I need to see that before the last, bit of the match. I think if they're able to use that energy and bring that earlier in the match, it's going to be so much more even. And I think that last push just shows it. Rain Dance still in the game. The score is now 1-1. Cactus, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. My jaw was on the floor.
I mean, that was an incredible last second push. And I also loved once they got that little bit of lead, you saw a couple different things happen there, right? You saw one player on the side of FOAMS come in from behind and try to get an off angle. You saw the rest of 3 of the 4 players of Rain Dance dive onto that tower, especially Mia with the hammer once they had it. But the second that they knew that they had Vera off onto their plat, they knew they had a shot. They knew they had a shot, and they consistently kept them down, which allowed so much freedom of the map. And they were able to push that down to that little bit of lead that they needed. And it was really just an excellent play there all around. And getting that, again, it was a 1-point difference. And, DC at the end or not, I still believe that Rain Dance would have had it because they had the strikes online. So they were able to have that player kind of dive on forward and just launch onto the tower. But regardless, such an intense game there. Completely different from that first game.
Yeah.
Rain Dance found their spot and found their key to that lock. And they are right in.
I want to talk about a little bit early in the match, because you were talking about the way they took out Vera, and I think Vera went down twice in a row. And I think Rain Dance, the option is literally kill the carbon, profit. That is your answer. Kill the carbon and profit. I think the less space that Vera has, the better for Rain Dance, and I'm hoping that they realize that I'm telepathically speaking to you. Ooh, kill the carbon. Ooh. And things are going to look a lot better, as we, of course, saw towards the end of this match. I think they're just waiting to get their last player back online from FOAMS 51 to continue this set, but I'm excited. I'm normal. Dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we'll see in a sec what the next map mode combination we're going to is. But it's so funny about tracking the carbon, because they have a Wiper. They have something that has torpedo to give a little bit more tracking, but you know what? It's not as good as a point sensor. Something that has a large radius to constantly mark, especially if you're on some sub-saver, to pop out a little bit extra and have a little bit extra ink in the tank if you need it. But overall, I mean, that was an incredible opportunity seen and taken once they had it. Great job by Rain Dance there. FOAMS 51 put up such a strong fight, though. I mean, mind you, that was the first minute of the game that FOAMS 51 got that push to 6. So the fact that Rain Dance never gave up that entire time and just kept going, and at the very last minute of the game, get their push to 5. I mean, that whole 4 minutes was...
4. It was 4.
It was 4.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm yelling at you. Screw you. It's 4. No.
But 4 to 6, I mean, the 3 minutes in the game just was nothing. It's the first and the last minute is what mattered there for both teams, and it shined true. Wow.
Dude, I said it 5 times. I'm normal. I feel like I'm not going to have a voice by the time this set. If we continue to have close sets like this, do I even have to say anything? It's going to speak for itself, because we both know both of these teams are kind of insane.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I think the next one actually is Rainmaker. Yeah, I see the little icon. It looks like a little pizza slice. It's so cute. That's Rainmaker. I'm super sure. It looks like a pizza slice. It does.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh. Also, word from the voices in our head. It does. There's a word from the voices in our head that their last player on FOAMS 51 is having connection issues still. So I don't know how long we're going to be here, or if they're going to be forced to get a sub. Question mark. Reset the router, Your Honor.
Reset the router, reset the game, maybe change hosts, who really knows. It's gonna be very interesting to see what again, Rainmaker on Scorch, very back forth, right? Very hold forwardy, and very collapsible, right? Very just down to the last wire there. So we'll have to see what these players are going to bring to the table when it comes down to it.
No, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think Rainmaker suffers the same problem as Mako Tower, which is the neutral feels really rough to get to break past. That's just scorch, period. So I think once these teams are, you know, willing to break or able to break past, you know, the really weird center of the map, profit. And we're going to be seeing a lot of things moving forward. It's going to get really exciting really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really anyone's game from here going forward. It really is. The aggression from Raindance was finally met. They were finally able to bring it to the table, especially once taking care of Vera, who really... that triple Vera got to in the middle of the game. Just each player got kind of appearing by the tower, and they just got collapsed on each time. I mean... wow. I mean, talk about a strong player that knows their angles. I loved also their Zuka shots. Just... I think it was halfway through, they Zuko'd from the left stack, and they just shot it straight in the air, trying to get the Slosher that was striking on the left. If the Slosher was a little bit more to the left, they would have had that pick, and that would have been the most aura Zuka shot I think I would have ever seen.
Like, there's only, like, one other player that I know that aura farms with Zuka sometimes, and that's Pepe. Like, if you can do that, you know, sure. Like, all right. I don't know. I'm, you know, you're talking about the 3-kill Vera had. I'm still in shock because all three players walked into it. No, okay, yeah. One didn't.
Okay,
the tower, I'll give you an excuse. Two did!
Yeah.
And I was like...
Petzl was existing. The Slosher, I believe, or not even this, I don't know who it was, but one of them walked towards the tower to try to get back on it. They're still there. And the other was backing out from a rough situation a little bit further past the tower and just died from their end.
Yeah. Also, I think we actually might be able to... We might be seeing the match happening soon. The last player is, you know, testing the hotspot gaming. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, sometimes it just works better than the Wi-Fi. I don't know what it is. I remember used to having to like, I used the Wi-Fi on my computer and then I hotspotted my Switch so that like at least if my Wi-Fi died, my Switch would be okay.
You know what?
That said,
whatever you got to do to get some matches in.
No, yeah, absolutely. And you know, already booting up this oh no. No. Oh, we got it. Okay, we're gonna be coming back into Scorch. Yeah, we got it.
Minimum is 2 more games. Is all you need to last through. We're gonna see a slight comp change coming out from Raindance. Birch will switch on over to the heavy edit, maybe feeling a little more comfortable on this map. With that though, you're gonna see double Splatling coming out from Raindance.
Double Splatling is interesting. I do very much like that edit switch because edit just, you know, not only does it pay a lot, it shreds through like anything that comes within its range. I think the only two things that are going to be coming in its range are the Carbon and the Zap. But again, things are not quite yet happening death-wise, and never mind, a trade just went out on the field. But no one has quite gotten a significant amount of space yet. People are still trading out members pretty much. So seeing that storm coming out from Swag, hopefully that's going to give a lot more space for Raindance as the rain is out and they are dancing, Your Honor.
Dancing they are. The only one not... Okay, never mind. Let's see. The only one not dancing was the Rainmaker, but they will pick it up. But Archer with a nice flank from behind gets 2 and goes on themselves, and I believe they are cooler up as well. Mia trying to hold their own now. Gets 2 down with that. Unfortunately, goes down. Thanks looking off to help with the Rainmaker pop. Jumps constantly coming on in from the side of Raindance just to hold this space. No real points on the board after a little over a minute in. Reef Slider gets one, jumps on into reset, and this is just a brawl in mid as Rainmaker resets.
Yeah, we are suffering the mid problem, TM, because it's just been a minute, almost a half, and no one has been able to push past the center. Like 97 points. That tells you everything we need to know. But we almost had a fun play. But we're gonna be fighting on the pit. Again, this is neutral. Your Honor, it's neutral. We're gonna be meeting a neutral again. It all goes back. It all goes back to neutral. I say as I'm dragged out the building.
It all falls back to neutral. 2v2 on the map right now. Swag's trying to do a good job at fighting off this Dread, but will get picked off by a bomb from Archer. And that will have to cause it to fall back just a little bit here. Yeah, 2 minutes in. Only 3 points scored entirely right now in this game. Wait, this might be the opportunity for FOAMS 51 to get some points on the board, and that it will be. We have more than 3 points scored on the board.
Let's go! And it took a minute, like 2 minutes. It took 2 minutes to get here, but we got here, and I think this might be an explosion of points for FOAMS 51 as this Rainmaker just moves forward. Already seeing that not pressure from the top. 40 points is where that count is going to stop for FOAMS 51, but it doesn't mean that they are out of the game just yet, as they're still holding a lot of space and near Raindance is spawn. They're just protecting this Rainmaker as best as they can, maybe letting it reset here, question mark?
Yeah, the goal is going to be led to reset here. They were looking for any players that might be sharking. Thankfully, none were. It stalled a little bit, though, of how far forward they push, but Mia does not care if the rest of the teammates are not there. Bear's going to try to Zuka any of these players off on the side and will not find it, but Mia will find a pick of their own. Hammer's going to come on out to see if they can find any players sharking on the sides. A little bit of a flick toss will unfortunately not find them in time, but a flick from the Dread will get a pick for themselves. They're having to play a little bit of a higher ground here as a burst ball finishes off Swag as they were already so weak. They're now diving on forward, seeing who they can get down, but they saw them coming, and they will go ahead and get Vera out of here and try to build up some space with those strikes.
Indeed, and we are seeing FOAMS 51, not really having players occupying center anymore, giving Raindance the opportunity to hopefully get that checkpoint of their own. Wrong Reef Slider. No, they're out. The Reef Slider's out of the way, but it still created enough space to give FOAMS 51 a bit more of a fighting chance to make sure that Raindance doesn't get that Rainmaker that checkpoint coming out. And see, it's successful because 3 down on Raindance in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, 3 going on down, and we're going to see 2 go down thanks to Mia. Will they be able to get that pop as well? Yes, they are. Reef Slider will come on in, try to get a pick onto Mia, but will not be successful. And right away, Raindance, just by Mia alone, holds on to this positioning that they had. Now they just have to watch for any flanks, and hopefully they can get this checkpoint as we're less than a minute to go in the game.
Less than a minute indeed. It's gonna get really tough. Raindance has such an uphill battle they need to fight, and putting in the pin here when we are not in the lead is devastating. I think this is gonna be kind of rough here for Raindance going forward. We're really approaching that 30-second mark, and FOAMS 51 just has so much control of the center, and they're willing to put it in the other pit themselves. Look at that! What is happening?
That is such an interesting decision to put it all the way on the enemy side of their pit area, and with only 15 seconds left to go, the rest of the teammates of FOAMS 51 just doing a fantastic job at just kind of holding it here. The Dread's going to try to hold on. Swag will try to get the pick. It will not be enough. It will go down, though, thanks to Mia, and they're going to have to try to get this pop if they want an opportunity to keep overtime going. But with everyone kind of diving into that corner, Birch is going to grab it, have to back on out of the way. Vera sharking, here comes Carbon. And there it is. Vera secures game number 3 for FOAMS 51.
I'm having Riptide flashbacks.
Not the Riptide
I'm literally
flashback.
I'm having Riptide flashbacks. Oh my goodness. No, just I'm like so conflicted about this match because we went so long without anything happen. I don't think it was like till 2 minutes so we had both teams having checkpoint. I think it was, or like that's insane. Like I was not kidding when I said in the middle of this map is like the stall fest. It's like a lot of teams don't break out of that, and then everything snowballs after that. But FOAMS 51, being the only team to really reach that snowball stage, is going to be taking game 3 with a 2-1 advantage. So that is match point now for FOAMS 51.
Yeah, and Rain Dance, I mean, a couple times they had decent footing, but it was really, like you said, the longest part of that game was really just the stalls in mid. No one could really get past that point. It wasn't until FOAMS 51 found that slight opening at just putting a couple of their players forward and making sure that they moved quickly off of the player advantage that they had. Rain Dance was a little bit slower to find that opportunity and to go on in, although I will say some of their players like Mia popping off, stalling all on their own in a 1v3, 1v4 scenario to make sure the rest of their teammates can come back in. So it's going to be very interesting to see now going forward. Like you said, match point for FOAMS 51, Clan Blitz Museum Delfino is going to be our game number 4 match, and these players are raring to go.
Raring indeed. I'm curious to see if we're going to be seeing any comm changes. I think that edit might be put away here. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be an edit on the field anymore. Yeah, being swapped out for a pencil, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting. That's going to be, oh, there we go. Lights out, and away we go. I'm curious to see how these two teams are going to be working on such an open map. Are we going to be getting that neutral again? Nope, because FOAMS 51 is going to be the first one to get that first pick on the board.
Yeah, that they are. We are going to see Mia being the first one to go down because they were off on that side. And 3 players actually collapsing them on that flank. Was enough, though, for Mia to come on back as the rest of her teammates were holding on mid. Trying to rush on in. Riki will try to join them in. Will not be enough. Swag barely surviving that reef slider as it comes on in. Jumps right where Vera is going to be. Getting one. Nice pick by the pencil to get them out as well. It is now just constant trades here in the center. A lot of blows being tossed on in. But it's going to be FOAMS poking the barrier of the ramp onto Rain Dance's plat in order for them to try to get a nice push in. Power claims made to go. Just need a couple picks and a couple specials, and they could be the first ones to open the basket.
Yeah, I'm still in shock by the bloodbath that was center like not too long ago, and I think we're going to be going back to that here in a second. Seeing already so many strikes coming out. Swag capitalizing off of that frame one, just a beautiful crossfire there, and aiming for another one here on the Archer, just barely alive. But this is huge space for Rain Dance, but FOAMS 51 is ready to meet them under their basket, so they got to find another pushing thing. Oh, look here, Storm. I'm solved.
Yeah, so I'm just going to allow them to try to go in off a different angle. Will they be able to go in and score in time? No, because there's a couple of players on that right side just kind of holding them in. It will be a 2v3 situation. There's going to be that reef slider just kind of holding them back. Pencil's the only one right now in mid trying to hold on the top spinner area, but with jumps coming on in and some strikes being pushed back, Rain Dance is going to try to extend their aggression and try to see if they can get a little any more different off angles to try to push on forward. But with 2 players on the side of Rain Dance going down, they're going to have to be forced to back on out of here. And FOAMS 51 is going to look to try to reclaim most of mid.
Very much so, and it's looking a little bit rough for both of these teams. So I feel like Rain Dance got pretty close, but FOAMS 51 I don't think had their opportunity to really get that close to the basket yet. So I feel like just playing on all of these open maps, a lot like both of these teams are just consistently fighting, taking each other out. That they're just that's rough. That's so rough. Pause.
That was so funny. The Zuka the hammer gets to pick, but the recoil of the launch back of Zuka launched him into the water.
It's like the Rainmaker all over again. That's just, it's a little bit funny, but also pretty dang rough, I would say. Again, we're I think we can take a chair, sit back, relax, take an ice cream as we're still kind of playing around the center-ish.
Yeah, still playing around mid here, right? Trying to hold the spinner, trying to see if we could push in for some space. Both teams really just fighting for the opportunity. It's really going to come down to who gets the most picks and who ends up in the bigger player advantage. Oh, and right now it's actually going to be Rain Dance immediately diving on forward. A couple of clams will be tossed to Riki here, and they're going to be the first ones to finally score 3 minutes into the game, and we got our first score and a couple more clams to feed it forward. There was that player advantage that I was just talking about as they were able to get for themselves. Although the last thing you want to see are the players of Rain Dance get completely collapsed on and fold in for a wipe it on themselves, but just barely holding on. Riki's going to try to be a little sneaky and get a couple more in as the rest of the players of Rain Dance are respawning, holding their plat. FOAMS 51 now pushing up mid.
Yeah, and Rain Dance, still able to keep a lot of the space that they made earlier, moving back to a slightly forward neutral area. Again, and they're knocking on the door of FOAMS 51's plat. They were right there. And, this pencil is also positioned incredibly well. I think this is the bad part about not having another pencil on the side of FOAMS 51. That pen is, pretty chill on the center, except, I guess, maybe when that blaster gets to it. But even then, I'm pretty sure it still outranges the Winter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe just a little bit as well. I mean, right now, FOAMS 51 is kind of stuck in the defensive side, and that's what we've seen from both of these teams. Whoever gets that kind of opportunity to take the most space, they're holding it for a while. Now, we might see a little bit of switch up here as we do see two specials online right now for the side of FOAMS 51. So specials being popped on out. 2 players going down. Make that 3. Just as I was saying it, here we go. We're going to see a little bit more aggression being put out from the side of FOAMS 51. Cooler's going to be launched on top of the plat. And see from Rain Dance with 30 seconds left on the clock. Do they have the opportunity to uphold the defense of a lifetime to stop FOAMS 51 from scoring?
The chance is never zero, and the thing is, even if they make it past this, they have to go into overtime because FOAMS 51 has that ball in their hands, but already seeing Archer coming up from the top, putting that first clam into the basket, but it's going to be 1 down. So the numbers are going to be evened out. I'm on the edge of my chair. This can go either way. Clam just having to be scored on the side of FOAMS 51 and quickly approaching that lead. Rain Dance just doing everything they can, but that lead is not stopped with FOAMS 51 taking the set. That was so unfortunate for Rain Dance.
Oh, no, that is so unfortunate. 1 clam, it's so hard. It's so hard to try to hold a defense. You're 1 extra player down guaranteed, and the other team has 2 specials lined up ready to go. Unfortunate run there at the end there for Rain Dance. Such a well-fought, held game and set all this way. FOAMS 51 puts the nail in the coffin.